Is David. It's just a quick hit. It's a Sunday afternoon. Happy weekend to everybody. How's everything going? Okay, we're gonna get into a few things which have been brewing during the week and just things that I haven't talked about. You know what we really haven't talked about? I mean, we talked about this a little bit, but now the Hollywood Demons, Housewives Gone Bad. It has aired. We talked about it just when it was coming out. It's aired. We've all had a chance to watch it, hopefully. And I just have a few things to say about our girl Teresa. They did the Teresa episode, but here are some things I found interesting. I'm curious if anyone else found these things interesting or even picked up on these things. Before we get to that, did you see this earlier in the week or last week? Teresa and Louis are in, I'm not making this up. It makes headlines, and so that's how I see it. They were in Miami. They were at a friend's birthday party. Now, they're showing them in Miami just spending money. I mean, look, people have to live, right? But lots of people had a problem with this because they owe, $3 million in taxes. So they're in Miami, they're living it up, and apparently they gave their friend for her birthday a Chanel scarf. The friend posted, what a generous birthday gift. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Louis. And it was a Chanel scarf. Now, a couple of things are going on here before we move on. First of all, we all know Teresa wears tons of fake shit, you know? I mean, is there any New Jersey housewife that doesn't wear fake shit? I mean, so her Chanel stuff that she wears, it's as fake as Jennifer Aydin's, you know? So first of all, friend of Teresa's, don't get too excited and don't thank them for such a lavish gift because it probably is fake. But if it's not fake, I have no idea what Chanel costs. I have no interest in knowing. But I can tell you Louis Vuitton because I know everything there. You know, a Chanel scarf, a Louis Vuitton scarf, depending upon what it is, could be anywhere from like 1600, I mean, it could go way up, but in general, it's like 1600 to like 4 grand, normally like 1600 to like 3 grand. So kind of a lavish gift if you owe $3 million in taxes. No, I mean, I'm just saying. Let me take a sip of coffee. I'm really sorry. But here's what I find shocking. So we watched the Hollywood Demons, and if you haven't watched Hollywood Demons Housewives Gone Bad, you don't have to watch because I'll sum it up here. This is what I found interesting. There's this guy, Jonathan Larson. He's listed in the credits as the director of the IRS field operations. So he's director of the IRS field operations. That's what it said in his bio on the show. I don't think they just make up a bio for you. And he basically said that the 2012, in 2012, his case agents were watching RHONJ. They were watching RHONJ and they saw Teresa take out a wad of cash and flip through all this cash. And that is what eluded his field agents to, something is not right with Teresa. And then they started looking into her and peeling back the layers. So, I mean, does anyone else find this weird? Because, I mean, doesn't that mean that nobody called the feds? Doesn't that mean that nobody called the feds on her? That this is how the whole thing started? And this is how they started peeling back all the way? Because that's what this guy who is, according to this, director of the IRS field operations, that's how this all started. So, I mean, is that what he's saying? That, have we been sitting here for a decade worried about who called the feds and they just simply were watching and that's how this whole thing started? I found that very, very, very strange. Like, did anyone else's antennas go up? Because that's what this guy said. Google the clip, watch the show. I mean, that's what I heard. And I mean, I replayed it like 13,000 times. So that's what I heard, that they were watching the show and that's how this whole thing started, which makes me think nobody called the feds. But What's also interesting to me is, for years and years, Teresa has been saying that all she did was sign one application. All she did was sign one thing that Juicy put in front of her. And that's how she ended up in jail. And she's a good girl. And she has said repeatedly how different she is from Jen Shaw. Repeatedly, that Jen Shaw did this and that, and I'm not like that. And I mean, again, it's like the delusion and the twilight zone of it all. It's like when Garcelle is sitting up there. I think really, we talked about this. I think it was Sutton, but I think it was Kyle. I think Garcelle is sitting up there like Twilight Zone, like with Teresa. And she's looking around and she's like, wait a second. Dory, your friend, your best friend over here that you're feuding with at the moment. You had dinner with her and her girlfriend, Morgan. Erica's sitting there like she's not even paying attention. And Garcelle is probably saying to herself, she's dating Morgan. She looks at Sutton. Well, you're not going to speak up to Kyle because you want to be friends with her. Tilly's been there for a minute. She looks at Kathy. Well, you've went against your sister once and it didn't end up well for you, so you're not going to speak up. Even Andy, she probably looks at Andy and she's like, but she's dating Morgan too. And Garcella's probably looking around like, this is actually the Twilight Zone. I am sitting on a stage and this woman is talking about how we're going to maybe find out in the future, what's going on in her life and maybe she'll start dating. And everyone up there knows she's dating Morgan. Andy knows she's dating Morgan. And I think Garcella is like, I just can't fucking do this anymore. In addition to the fact that her friend Sutton is more worried about becoming friends with Erica than her. Well, this is like the Twilight Zone. It's the same thing. I've said this before. It's like that we're sitting here and Teresa is saying everything's going to be okay. Everything is not okay. You owe $3 million. Well, I feel this is the same thing. I mean, she's been saying for years, I've only signed one document. Well, we learned on the show, and it's in print over here. We learned on the show there were two prior situations, two before the show, and these were in September of 2001. Okay. And the second one was in September of 2005. So years and years and years before New Jersey in 2021. Now, this to me just goes against the fact that she's been saying for decades that she signed one document. In 2001, way before the show, way before this, she applied for a $121,500 mortgage loan. Does anyone out there have a mortgage? Has anyone out there applied for a mortgage? Let me tell you something, because I've had mortgages in my time. When you apply for a mortgage, whether you can afford it or not, you have to give them so much documentation. I mean, the last time I applied for a mortgage, I told them to go fuck themselves. It's like, it doesn't matter how much money you have to your name. It doesn't matter whether you can afford it or not. You can be worth however much money and actually have the money. There's still an income test. Now, sometimes they granted a mortgage just on an assets test, which is a whole different thing. But you have to get the bank to do that, which they should do. It's like if I have, $10 million sitting here and you see the $10 million and the apartment is worth, $2 million, and I want a mortgage for 1.1 million, you should give it to me because I have $10 million of cash sitting over here. But the point is, it don't matter. You got to show this, and there's an income test, and you got to show everything, tax returns. And when you work for yourself, it's a lot harder. You got to show this. Look, you get the mortgage, but my point is, the amount of documentation you have to show is endless. And you tell them to fuck off, but you still got to show it when you're done having your breakdown. And then you got to sign at the bottom that like everything you say is true and this and that. By the way, if you need to have a certain amount of money in the bank to get a mortgage, and say your friend says, well, I'll let you borrow $1 million. Just here's $1 million. Just put it in your bank account. You have it. You can't even do that. You have to justify where the $1 million came from to show that it's actually your money and that you earned it and why. I mean, there's things you have to show to get a mortgage. You get it.